Hello, Rosie, my lovely. How are you today?
I'm fine, Brenda, my lovely. How are you today?
I'm great, thank you. And you look absolutely ravishing today, I might say. You look beautiful.
You? I've got my Shine Your Light t-shirt on. Good to see
You
my sister.
you are definitely shining. You are definitely shining. And the reason that I've got Rosie on today is to talk about our amazing work together over the past few weeks. Rosie signed up a short while ago for my I forgot what I've called it now, but it's like Fortune Leads to Fame Academy, which is like a 5-week intensive of coaching. And it's what's really funny, and I have to tell you about the story. Rosie's actually came to me because in fact, you tell them, Rosie, why is it that you actually came to me originally?
What, when I first started working with you a few years ago, or this
No,
time
no,
round?
no, this time round.
I just kept getting the impulse from my higher self to contact you. We'd kind of got to the point where I had this team together and we were a dream team. And it's like, right, we really are positioned for success now. We need someone to lead us there. And I remember you'd done some copy for me in the past and like we'd got results. And I was just like, I need to work with someone who's going to get me results, like guarantee me results. And I just kept getting you coming up. And we had a couple of other people because we were initially looking at copy and thinking that's what we needed to take us to the next level. And just kept coming back to you. My left-hand woman, Cherie, was also saying, I just feel like you need to talk to Brenda. So I'd kind of already committed before we'd even spoken. I was like, I know I need to work with you. And this whole journey has been about reinforcing this connection to my higher self wisdom,
It
which
has
is what
been
you.
awesome. Yeah, so as Rosie said, she actually came to me for copy, which is really funny because in a former life, in a former working life, that's what I used to do. I was kind of a bit of a jack of all trades. I knew I was good at so many different things, and I think a lot of you out there can identify with that when you're multi-talented, multidimensional, as I like to call Rosie, and you have so many different talents, but actually you're not really following what it is, what your heart, really wants you to do because all it's about is making the money. So although I didn't really have a particular passion for doing sales pages per se, it was something that I was doing because it brought in the money, and I knew I could get good results with that. And so Rosie came to me for that, and then we had this conversation. I was like, "Yep, I don't do that anymore. But what I am going to sell you instead is some coaching." And she was like, "Okay," and I was like, "Yes," and I was like, "So." This is how it's going to work. We've got a 5-week program, and it's not about changing your mindset. It is not about changing your sales pages. We are not going to do anything to do with copy. We're not going to be doing any mindset work. We're not going to be doing any of the stuff that you think ordinarily would be done, but we are going to get you the results and going to get you the 10K month that you desire. And I laughed with Rosie, I think it was just yesterday, wasn't I? Because I could see the look on her face that sort of said, and I said, everyone who works with me does make money because I know my process inside out and I know that it works. And I could see the look on Rosie's face that said, I'm not sure that I'm going to be one of those people that makes the money. Tell me about that a bit, Rosie.
Oh, it's the same thing, isn't it? That what we attract in our clients, but it was just this idea that obviously I must be the exception to the rule because, that's the way it is, isn't it? That's the old story. And then I had this whole impulse to look in my account a few days ago, actually, and kind of, I just had this vision that there was just over 10 grand in there. And I looked at my account and there wasn't actually, there was about 6 grand. But in the next
I need to stop you at that point. 6 grand. Tell everyone how much 6 grand is to you, though, having that amount in your account, even though it wasn't the 10.
The thing is, it was the 10. This is the point, is
Okay.
the 6 was there. And then suddenly the other money came in that was due to come in. And it was suddenly 2 days later, I'm looking at my account and there's just over 10 grand in there. And it's just like, these premonitions, this is this whole thing about trusting this way of working and living and showing up and what we're able to tap into, what you're tapped into, where my blind spots were that meant I needed to come to you to sort of reveal that. But we are just aligning all the time. And like you told me it would happen, I didn't believe it would happen, but I had to work on why I didn't believe it would happen. And that's what you were helping me with. And that's the point, is all that's blocking us is belief. That's the same for my clients as well. And that's why they need to come to someone who knows how to move through that.
Totally. And that's awesome. But I need you to tell people where you were coming from. So explain to people, just so they understand how huge, because everyone hears about the 5-figure months and the 100K years and all of that kind of stuff. And everyone gets a bit jaded by the talk about money. And, you know, for whatever reason, some people have hang-ups about money. Some people are just so over the marketing around it. But tell people exactly where you were coming from financially and emotionally prior to stepping into this.
Oh my goodness. Right. So basically turning over £2,000 a month, 2 to 3 grand a month turning over, but not at, you know, my expenses meant that I was still reliant on housing benefit and tax credits, and really in a place where, although I was getting amazing results from my clients in whatever area I was working with them, there was this constant need to work a bit harder to get the next result. And I was very good at sort of getting up and down, but my fear was in maintaining it and being able to consistently maintain a higher vibration. So, you know, there was always this sort of tightness around money, even in the amount I could pay out to my team. And, you know, we were all working towards these amazing ideals and working our tools and doing it and working through the challenges. But we had to yet manifest in the physical what we were feeling was happening energetically. And it was that landing into the physical, which is kind of what I talk about with the earth chakra. So there would be times when there'd be like £5,000 in the account, which would be a really good time, you know, and then we're kind of having to pay things off and we're having to very slowly build towards the things we'd wanted to do with the business. And this was the issue, was that I was basically too busy to make money, you know, like I was so busy doing so many things. Again, jack of all trades, Jill of all trades, whatever you want to call it, really good at everything, but spending far too much time doing things that weren't earning me money, weren't honouring my gifts and where I could be really powerful. And it's that allegiance as well, the people pleasing, all the things that keep us where we are, that I was not able to see the bigger picture, as in I could see it, but I couldn't see how I was going to get there. I couldn't see how I could take what I really wanted to offer the world to a place where it could really sustain me the way I needed it to. And things were building, they were just building slowly. And I was done with waiting. That was the thing, is it's like, this is taking so long. And it's, yeah, it was just time for the big time. We knew that when we contacted you, you know? So it has been huge. Like every month you're kind of thinking, okay, what's there? I've got to pay everybody off first. I haven't even paid myself a salary in all the years that I've been running a business, you know? So it's just like really just taking what was left after everybody else has been paid, and also only feeling that it was okay for me to spend money if it was on the business, if it was on the growth of the business, whether that was Enjoy or Rosy Glow. So I had to justify everything. I mean, my life is my work, so that's fine. But in my head, there was just this belief that it was only, I wasn't allowed personal money. I wasn't allowed money to have a massage, to pay for things that were, for me, my enjoyment, my rest, my recuperation. And so there was never money in that pot. And the same for my daughter. You know, it's like there wasn't that freedom around money that was so important for me to feel like I was actually getting what I was giving as well.
Fantastic. And I think there are a lot of people who are watching this video now who can totally identify with putting themselves last. And one of the things that I worked on with Rosie was putting herself first. And actually, she made a very important point about working so hard to get to where she was. Now, Rosie, maybe you want to tell people out there the kind of thing that I got you to do to tell you that you will make money if you do it. So what kind of things did we get you doing? Exactly. It's true.
You gave me permission to do what I wanted to do anyway, but to just tie it in. What I discovered was my bad girl, what I perceived as my dark side or my bad girl, had to be given permission to be, and she couldn't be kept in a box. And you know, I love sex. Like I'm a very physical, creative being. All physical pleasures I muchly enjoy. But you were just like, right, yes, you've committed to making this amount of money this week, go off and have some fun. I'm like, what? I mean, I don't have to spend every waking hour of my day thinking about how I'm going to make this money and I'm working hard towards it. No, that's the problem. You're working too hard. Stop working so hard. And all the big monies that have been coming in the last couple of months have been while I've been resting.
Totally. And
whatever you want to call that.
Yes, no, exactly. And I have to say to everybody at this stage, Rosie has only done 3 sessions with me. So we've signed up for 5 sessions, but we've only done 3 sessions because Rosie went away to do some training during that period. So I wanted to give her the time to absorb everything that she'd learned and actually implement it. But it's literally 3 sessions, and she's made her way to the 10K. Or is it 4 sessions now, isn't it? Has made her way to the 10K, which is awesome. And what I really love about this story is there were some things about Rosie that I'd kind of already known because we have known each other for a while. But, you know, she was coming up to her 40th birthday. And what I loved about Rosie is she was like, do you know what? This is what I want, so I'm going to do it. So she didn't query about paying the money down. It was just like, I know a way to get hold of it and I can sort it out and I'm going to do it. And she did. And she just trusted in herself. And the minute that she was able to say yes to herself, then magical things started happening. And then there was, you know, tell people about the crystal that you've got yourself. The huge crystal.
All right, this started last year when I bought myself an inflatable hot tub as an early birthday present. And I wanted it because I have an amazing CV. So I started to give myself things, but I was scared. And the thing that used to happen, Brenda, is I would give myself a gift or I'd go on holiday or whatever, and then I'd be punished for it. You know, there's some kind of bill would come through or some stress would come through that meant that I couldn't enjoy it. The payoff was I would have something nice, but I'd have to pay for it, you know, more than just the monetary value. So this crystal, I first saw in a shop 2 years ago, in my favourite crystal shop in Brighton. And it's this huge piece of celestite. And I walked in and I was like, that's my crystal. And the guy looked at me and he was like, oh, yeah, absolutely. So how much is it? It was like £1,000. I was like, okay, maybe it's not my crystal. But, you know, the idea of actually spending that much on a crystal anyway, my mum used to do it, my stepdad does it, but it was just like not in my radar, not conceivable when there are other things that are more important, right? But I'd go in, it was always there, I'd go in regularly, and more recently, I think it was tying up with just after I'd agreed to work with you, I was really getting impulsed to buy this crystal. Like, it was like, you've just got to buy it. Like, your higher self is just, like, my higher self was just saying, you've got it, this is important. And I was just like, I've just borrowed money to work with Brenda, and I'm looking at, what? Like, oh... And, you know, I kind of found a way in my head that I could do it. And I also asked my higher self to show me other ways that I could afford it. And I felt like I had 2 or 3 ways I could make it happen. So that made me feel safe in terms of sort of committing to something insane. And, you know, obviously the people around me were kind of mirroring, that's a bit crazy. But I just did it anyway. And I felt very excited about it. And basically, the whole thing with it was that it was about being able to trust the guidance again, which is what led me to you. But what I've come to understand, because since buying that crystal, so many things have just happened. Like, the frequency of my energy has shifted so much consistently. It's brought that frequency of consistency in. And that was the thing that I was scared of, that maintenance. And it is literally, the better it gets, the better it gets. We're talking now a good couple of months, you know, since my birthday. And everything since turning 40 has been amazing. But the crystal was really a test, and it was coming through dreams that I had to really trust it. So it was, I don't really, you know, the main message with it was that I deserved it. I really deserved to have, I was worthy of it and I was deserving of it, even though it contradicted all of my conditioning. And I've cleared so much conditioning anyway. I've been on a conditioning, you know, clearing conditioning path for so long, but I just had to keep stepping out of the story and trust.
See, and that's an amazing story. And you know, and this is testimony to anyone who's out there watching this, that you really, the belief has to become first. You may think that you have to see evidence of something taking place before you can move forward with it, but you actually have to believe first. And that's what Rosie did, and found it quite easy to do, probably somewhat because of the work that Rosie actually does and the work that she helps her own clients come through. Rosie actually is, when I say multidimensional being, I literally mean that. Like, she helps women with all kinds of womb health, feminine issues. She helps people get pregnant. You know, she's a fertility specialist, natural fertility specialist. She also helps, she does mother and baby yoga and then straight yoga for people. Please correct me, Rosie, if we're getting any of these things wrong. You know, so she does all forms of yoga, And there's also multidimensional yoga, which is, you know, a much deeper level. It goes to a deeper
That's
level.
the one.
Yeah, deeper awareness for people, you know, and it's all about the body, you know, really connecting with your body and all of that kind of stuff. And what was the other thing? And then she obviously runs a program called Fearless, Empowered and Free to Be Me, which essentially is helping people to become fearless, empowered and free to be themselves, which gets really, really deep down to their deep-rooted fears and anxiety around things and helps them become the, you know, the higher version of themselves, which is absolutely awesome. And the thing, it's amazing because Rosie has been doing this work for so long and she's helped so many people get the most astounding results. But the money piece was just the one thing that Rosie couldn't get past for herself. She was living an amazing life. Another person that I work with as chief manifester could manifest just about anything, but the money piece was the one piece that was missing. And I think you'd agree to that, wouldn't you, Rosie?
I'd say it was money and the sacred union, divine counterpart, ascension partner that I was seeking to share this journey with. So that these two things were just, yeah, this story of challenge. There was an upward trajectory of growth, but it was slow, you know, and it was coming at a very heavy price, and things hadn't actually manifested in the place where I could say I was in grace and ease about it. I was still working on that, and I still hadn't had the physical manifestation. You know, that physics. It's so when we talk about multidimensional, very simply, 3D is the fear matrix, 4D is the land of dreams and imagination, 5D is where you consciously choose to become a co-creator of your reality, and you own everything, including the crap that is around you. And you go, right, I'm going to deal with it. So in order for something to come from 5D into, you know, a physical reality, because we can have a 5D reality in our physical world, but we have to believe it into being, and you have to believe it before it's actually there. So the process of the plasma becoming form was taking an awfully long time because I had the belief it had to. And so the unblocking that was going on for my clients was phenomenal, and I was operating at a higher and higher vibration all the time, but I had to get to this place of being utterly fulfilled in myself, regardless of whether the 10K was in the bank or the man was next to me. And it was like a very important place with like, right, this place doesn't need saving. This place is full and affluent in itself. However, I'm ready for the next bit. And it's like, I want to see what I can create for myself here as a co-creator. So in the fact that there was still some tightness around money and love, and I still had issues around worthiness and deserving. That was, you know, that was the core stuff that I had to work with someone who could bring solidness, bring that ethereal into solid form. And that's what you were just bolshily coming in as. Like, if I could give you a goddess name, like Bodicea, right, comes to mind. It's just like, boom, bring it here. Let's have it right now and no more waiting. And it was that permission as well. So whether you call it commanding, demanding, whatever you like, we lose faith in that period of time where it hasn't manifested. And also sometimes we really BS ourselves. And I think this is something that you know, I was making myself wait. It wasn't that I had to wait. It was that by virtue of the stories I was still telling myself, I was making myself wait. No one else.
Exactly. And another amazing thing that happened is Rosie had just started seeing this wonderful partner. I'll leave him nameless for the time being, but a wonderful partner just before we started working together. And over the period of the time that we have been working together, their relationship has just completely exploded, hasn't it, Rosie? It's just been awesome, you know. And this is what I want to say to people: once you start on the path of transformation, it is 360. There isn't just one area of your life that's going to change when you actually do the work and actually go through the process of transformation. So tell people a bit about what's happened between you and Ian, you know, kind of in a nutshell over the past few weeks.
The nameless one called Ian.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry, rubbish about that. Never mind. Sorry, Ian.
You'll love it.
We tried.
To be honest, we hadn't started seeing each other before we started working together. We had reconnected, but I was having to let go of something that meant a lot, well, what I thought was going to be my long term. And same for him, he had someone else in his life. And he actually came to DJ at my birthday, and we didn't get together then, but it was the weekend after.
Even better.
Yes, so we'd had a session together, you and I. We'd had a pre-session. which was on the 8th of August. I remember I'd made a commitment because 10 years, you know, this whole thing about decades, 10 years before, I was due on the 8th, born on the 12th of August, and birth stuff is obviously what I specialise in, so all of this is relevant. And basically, on the 8th of August 10 years ago, I found out my mum had cancer, and she died within 9 months, you know, so it was a very big slap in the face, that turning 30. And I was determined that this decade was not going to be a decade of suffering. I was determined that this decade was one where I was cashing in and I was getting the goodies, you know. So I arranged to speak with you on the 8th. I was like, I'm turning this around. Something absolutely wonderful is going to happen today. And actually, over that weekend, I think it was, my dad got sick. He had a mild heart attack, you know, and it's like, oh my God, like it was really like mother-father stuff. Like I was like, nah, nothing is going to stop me from this. And it was about turning an old story around. There's a lot around it, which I won't go into too much, but you know, we feel we have to make these sacrifices, don't we, between work and love and the commitments we make. And like the commitment really has to be to yourself. Your growth is the greatest gift you can give anyone around you. So that's what I did. We had our pre-session, then we arranged our time together, our VIP day, and it was just like in that interim, all this had happened. And okay, I knew Ian years before, so it's not like he was a complete stranger, but the last 2.5 months have been just, I have been living paradise. I'm looking out the window now, I'm at his place, and I can see the sea right in front of me. I have a sea view from my home, but it's much higher up the hill and sort of that way. I am living in a platinum, you know, like I wake up in a platinum room, and platinum is a frequency I've been working with for years through my other coach, through Susanna, and the divine feminine frequency, basically. And everything, it's like they say life mirrors art, you know, imitates art. Like all of the frequencies I've been putting forward that I've been seeding the last few years are just sprouting up and up and up. And he is my dream man, you know, like if you knew what I've done in the past to kind of define what that would mean for me, because I'm complex multidimensional, I need a complex multidimensional being too, and just how he's slotted in as a perfect counterpart. So when I've been putting out every day, I am in sacred union with my divine counterpart ascension partner, and I'm committing to that, or I'm clearing the blocks to whatever. And then someone comes in and can basically be the king to your queen, can meet you where you're at now, has their stuff, you've got your stuff, but through your connection, you're harmonizing and you're balancing and you're being even more. And he actually took with him on holiday a book by Bruce Lipton called The Honeymoon Effect. And that's what led me to work with Susanna. And that's actually kind of what led me to you as well, you know. And he read it, and he downloaded it, and it's like, we are living it, you know, we are living it.
This is so awesome. And there was also, I don't know if you mind me talking about energetically, there was, because Rosanna's energy had changed so much and shifted so much, there was actually a person who had kind of left her life who was actually then sort of attracted by this energy again, weren't they, Rosie?
Yeah, and I want to be respectful of the privacy, but
yes.
The experience I had was that I was honoured in my truth, whereas before I'd had at least 12 months of feeling like I was going a bit mad, because my intuition, you know, was just, that's what I'm good at, you know, that's how I get results for people. But this was partly why I had the blocks in my personal life, because I was being lied to, strong, but yeah, a truth was being denied. And if you take that back to me denying my own truth, my own worth, my own deserving, it was mirrored in a masculine who, you know, I have loved very deeply and continue to care for very much. But it was not meeting me where I needed to be met, and I had to let go, and I had to trust that that was the right thing, because again, that's what my guidance was saying, even though it seemed like I had visions that said otherwise. And what happened was I got met in truth, and that meant so much to me, because if it was my personal life that to this point was the challenge for me to really feel fulfilled, to trust in intimacy, to actually, I'm great with groups of people, I'm great with my clients, the one-to-one, when you're a very sensitive person and you're an empath, it can be really difficult to be in truth with someone if they're not in an honest dialogue with themselves. And because I wasn't in an entirely honest dialogue, because of the worthiness and the deserving, I was meeting others who weren't. And it was very difficult to have an honest exchange, because everyone's protecting themselves. So the moment I just went, this is my truth, I'm in it, it doesn't seem to resonate with yours, but I have to honor my truth. That then called said person to have to be in their truth, and actually, you know, they were repelled initially and then came forward. So this kind of ties in with when you start to shine and people around you kind of get a bit cranky because they're like, oh, look at her, what's she doing? Yeah, she's all full of herself now, or whatever. And we fear that. We fear the fact that people might be envious, or, you know, start to want to persecute or whatever. But actually, they're just uncomfortable because it's a reminder that they're not stepping into their truth and their fullness. And we live by the shining example that we are. As Marianne Williamson says, you know, it's not for us to play small. So daring to be brilliant allows others to discover their brilliance, and actually, you know, seeing them grow in the directions they need to. You give yourself permission to have what you really want, even if that means that you have to let go of it being with a particular person. That gives them permission to have what they really want right now, even if other things are important at another time. It doesn't matter. It's just being true to yourself for the next step.
Totally, so important. And Rosie has been the best at embracing all of this. She truly, truly has. She just took to the work like a duck to water, and it's been an absolute pleasure working with you, Rosie. So maybe tell people, just because I know you've got to go shortly for a meeting, maybe just tell people a little bit about the kind of money that you'd invested in the past to kind of get to where you are, and the kind of work you've done previously that hadn't quite, you know, had got some results but hadn't quite got you to this place.
Really simply, if you spend small money, you make small investments, you get small results because you're kind of staying in your comfort zone. Now, over the years, you know, I've been a yoga teacher for 20 years, so I've invested at least £30,000, if not more, on my own development. But I was never paying big tickets. I never paid in one go to be able to work with someone and actually really stretch myself out of what was available. And I have, you know, I feel like every teacher I've worked with has gifted me something, but I wasn't breaking through that paradigm of it's okay to make money. It was okay to make money up here. And I mean, just on the money, I'd done a course with Brenda Gilmore online, which was a group course. It wasn't very expensive and it did help, but it wasn't like getting me there. I did the 40-day abundance, a little book of abundance 40-day program, which I can't remember the guy's name, is brilliant. And again, that started to bring things, but it wasn't there. I'd created the prosperity challenge, which is on my website, which really helped me to just keep what it stopped me doing was self-sabotaging. You know, money was definitely flowing in and I wasn't creating debts as a result of that, but I wasn't having my big win yet. Others were having better results with my tools than I was.
Yes,
you know, I was
exactly. And this is very common. This is very common.
I was just like, wow, that's amazing. Wow, you just had a 10 grand debt clear. Wow, and you just had that. Amazing. Come on then. And I actually had to get that. I was like, where is it? Here, now. No more waiting. And it was like being okay with even demanding the results. So when it came to you, I kind of felt like I was ready to take a risk. I was just ready to jump in. And I'd done similarly with my other teacher, Susanna, which this is how I trained as an emotional mental detox coach. And that's what she teaches, and she's brilliant at it. And that helped me shift so much. But I still wasn't in the physical with my divine counterpart, and I didn't have 10 grand in the bank. And I had put up on the wall everywhere in my house, you know, I am receiving £10,000 a month and more every month with Grace and with Ease. That's been up for 4 years. 4 years.
Yes.
I've been happy for 4 years.
4 years, people, it took, and then finally, within 3 sessions, we'd snapped it, hadn't we?
Exactly. And you literally just took me to those places that were just, I couldn't be as transparent with anyone else. I think this was another thing, was I really felt I could say to you, look, Brenda, I do this and I do that and I want to do this, and is that okay? And she's like, what, you think those things are going to stop you making money? Okay, that's like, awful people make money. Why shouldn't you make money? And it was just like, oh yeah, awful people have healthy relationships or have relationships where they have a partner. What was stopping me? So you took me into places where I had to unravel. And again, my clients have basically said, you know, I thought my life was falling apart, but actually I was being put back together into my truth. And with you, I had to, you basically said to me, you're worth more, step up to that. I had to go, okay, and then go, but I'm not, because this and do the work that I needed to do with you to get to the point. I was like, I am actually. I am. And I was really effective before, but damn, I'm even more effective now. And I can get even more effective than that.
Yes.
That before was worth this. So what's this worth?
Exactly. It's been awesome. And Rosie, thank you. And I have to say, Rosie managed to up her prices. You know, her work didn't change, but she was able to up her prices, and not from a place of, oh, right, I just want to make more money and it's all about the money rather than who I'm helping. What Rosie offers her clients is literally life-changing, and therefore it needed to be, you know, that needed to be reflected in the cost that she was charging for it. And that's what I said to her. And I you know, if you want to say I gave her permission to do that, you know, but working with me gave her permission to be like, right, this is actually what the work I do is worth. In fact, it's worth 10 times more than this. But, you know, if we're going to talk about a figure, this is what we're going to put it out for. And actually, you know, although Rosie had originally intended on putting together a group with 8 people in it, what happened is 6 people in it. Afterwards, she kind of said, I would be happy if I just got 4 people in this group. And then what happened, Rosie?
We got 4 people in, and
we got 4
actually
people.
one of them joined after. And, you know, I think this is it, is it's like the full permission to actually shine your light. I mean, what's happened is my physical world has been able to support me more, to hold more of my soul light, so I can be even more able to deliver. And I've changed where I want to deliver. I actually looked back, and I'd set the intention back in January that I wanted to work with decision makers. You know, I believe the whole world can change. You know, I'm blown away by the 1001 day government manifesto in the UK. I know that if every baby has the right start in life, we won't have wars. We will not have what is going on this planet. I know that as much as I know, to quote you, my name is Rosanna, right? I know we can bring world peace to this planet, and I'm not a hippy dippy lulu la la whatever. You know, this is grounded. You work with fertility, you work with pregnancy, you work with birth, you work with the immediate postnatal period, first 7 years of a child's life. You are setting them up. And it's resilience, but it's knowing stress levels have to come all the way down. Now, whether you're going to have kids or not, whether you've had them or not, everybody's been born. So we all hold birth trauma. We all hold pregnancy trauma. We're living that out every day of our lives. Everybody needs to clear it. We clear it as adults. We clear it as grandparents, parents, adults, teens. You massively just shift what can happen in a couple of years. And I'm committed to that. I want to work with the decision makers to make it happen.
Exactly. And I know Rosie's got about 3 minutes left, so I'm going to round this up really quickly and say that Rosie is absolutely awesome. I'm going to put a link to her website at the bottom of this post, so you can please go and check out what she does, because she is awesome. I only work with awesome, I don't even call them game changers, like game makers, like they create new games, new rules, new paradigms, all of that amazing stuff. And, you know, just listening to the passion that she's spoken about, the work that she wants to do, you know, Rosie is going to be someone that is going to be seen on the big stage. And that's why I do the work that I do. So it may sound like it's coming from a place of, oh, I'm just helping people make money, but it's not. There's a reason it's called fortune leads to fame, because the same sort of mental stuff that you go through, the same sort of issues you go through in becoming famous is the same sort of stuff that you're dealing with in feeling worthy of the money. And so if you tackle the money first, which is something that people can get on board with very quickly, you can then look at the fame. So Rosanna and I will be working together moving forward to get her out there into the public eye and getting the recognition she deserves and making the impact that she wants to in the world, which is why I do what I do. So I'm going to leave it at that. Rosie, quick word to anybody who is thinking about embarking on this journey, you know, doing this work. What would you say to them? You've got a minute.
Do it. No, don't even hesitate. You just do it. Just put the money wherever, you know, just put it down. Just do it. As my own clients have said, you know, the moment you do, things start shifting. So you have been, like, my crown of my head is just buzzing. There's so much energy coming through. My gratitude to you. I actually do believe I couldn't have done this without you, you know, and you know, I called you in and you told me your worth, and I met you there, and I've got the results that I need. And it's this whole thing of just really, when you're ready, the teacher shows up, and actually you call the teacher in, and it's like, we just need to do it. So I'm just super excited for what's coming, looking forward to the next commitment with you, and yeah, baby, let's change the world.
Me too. Right. So I'm going to let Rosie go now. She's got a meeting, but thank you all for watching. And yeah, check out Rosie's website. Lots of love. Bye
In
all.
touch with Brenda.
Okay. That too, of course, that goes without saying. Bye.